After the death of her first husband, the woman's life collapsed into silence. She was young, grieving, and responsible for a 3-year-old boy who had already lost his father too early. For years, she lived only for her son, protecting him, loving him, and trying to be both mother and father at once. Eventually, under pressure from family and society, she remarried. Her new husband was a powerful man, wealthy, respected, admired by everyone. His house was large, elegant, and filled with comfort. When she arrived with her little boy, he showed no objection. "Let the child stay," he said. "It's fine." For a while, things seemed peaceful. The boy played in the garden, ran through the halls, and believed, innocently, that this house might become his home. Then a year later, she gave birth to another son. This time, the house exploded with celebration. The man's pride knew no limits. He held his newborn high, announced his name loudly, and told everyone, "This is my heir." From that moment, everything changed. The older boy slowly disappeared from the man's eyes. He was no longer invited to sit beside him, no longer asked how his day was, no longer hugged. The laughter stopped when the boy entered the room. The mansion grew colder, not because of winter, but because love had conditions. One afternoon, the man returned home in high spirits. He carried a shiny new bicycle wrapped in ribbons. His biological son screamed with joy and ran toward him. The father lifted him proudly and placed him on the bike. In the corner, the older boy stood quietly. He didn't speak, he didn't cry. But his eyes told a painful story, one of longing, confusion, and heartbreak, the mother noticed. Her heart trembled, and softly she said, "Could you buy another bicycle?" "So both boys can ride together." The man's smile vanished. His voice turned sharp and cold. "I am not responsible for that boy," he said. "And if you continue defending him, I will throw him out of this house." Fear gripped her throat. For the sake of her child, she said nothing. Days passed. The favoritism grew crueler. The younger son received toys, clothes, affection, and praise. The older one received silence. Hunger for love became his daily companion. When school time came, the man proudly enrolled his son in an expensive private school. New uniforms, books, tutors, everything. The mother gathered courage and asked, "What about the older boy?" The man replied without hesitation, "He will not go. He doesn't carry my name." Tears filled her eyes, anger shook her voice. "Education is not a privilege reserved for blood." That was the final straw. "I'm finished!" the man shouted. "I don't want him in this house anymore." The boy heard everything. Trembling, he ran to his mother and wrapped his small arms around her. He wiped her tears with his hands and whispered, "Mom, please don't cry because of me. He's not worth your tears. I'll leave so you won't suffer anymore." She tried to stop him, but he was already packing his few clothes into a small bag. Before leaving, he turned back one last time. "Please don't cry, Mom," he said quietly. The door closed, her world shattered. Her heart burned as questions tore through her soul. Where will he go? Who will feed him? Who will protect him in a cruel world? She raised her hands toward the sky and cried, "My God, I entrust my orphaned son to you. Be his guardian, be his shelter. Protect him from harm, and one day, bring him back to me." 10 years later, that abandoned boy would return, not as a victim, but as a miracle. And the house that once rejected him would finally understand the price of cruelty. Call to action. If this story moved you, don't scroll past it. Share it, to remind the world that love should never depend on blood, that children deserve dignity, and that the prayers of a broken mother never go unheard.